Hi everybody, this is Dan Stolbarger. Welcome to this week's Kfir Middle East Update. It's the week of July 17th. A lot going on. Two main issues really, at least in Israel, is going to be the COVID issue that's threatening, once again, the second wave is threatening to close the country down, as well as what in the world is happening in Iran. Good news first. It seems like Israeli researchers are making headway, both in vaccinations and just in research dealing with the COVID-19 attacks. Really, this news couldn't come at a better time with everything that's transpiring, that's going on at this particular time. Israel continues to break records with this COVID-19, the government's weighing, re-shutting down synagogues, restaurants, beaches, etc. We're just going to have to wait this thing out and see what transpires next, because as we've spoken of before, it is so difficult to find truth regarding this whole issue. So have to continue to wait and see. Now, back to the explosions in Iran. For those that are keeping count, today marks the 9th mysterious incident that's transpired in various military and industrial facilities across Iran during the last 2 weeks. Today, 7 ships caught fire. All of this sort of seems to be centering in around the Iranian nuclear facilities. The article here on Centrifuges, I should mention at this time, make sure you go to holygroundexplorations.com to access the PDF PowerPoint that accompanies this YouTube presentation. So back to the whole issue of the centrifuges. It seems that this continuing wave of mysterious explosions that are at these nuclear-related Iranian sites seem to be the work of Mossad. The daring raid they had in 2018, where they got the secret nuclear archives and everything that's sort of transpiring, Iran seems to have no clue about who's targeting its military and nuclear sites or how the attacks have been carried out. But routinely, Israel as well as the US are being blamed for these mysterious explosions. And it's almost like an enemy that's backed into the corner. It's at their most dangerous point with what's going on in Iran right now. We're kind of waiting to see how they're going to lash out and lash back. This next article seems frightening to take a look at. It's Iran and China, and put Israel in the middle. Israel's got to figure out a way to engage the Chinese government that allows for it to make sure that Iran cannot rebuild its military and continue to be the regional bully that it's been for decades. And then it's the whole thing with the US and China. Israel's kind of caught in the middle because China can bail Iran out. And it seems like that's what's taking place at this particular time. China must be confronted, but in a very sensitive sort of manner. Can you imagine that alliance? Well, we had a defector from Hamas. The senior Hamas commander defected to Israel last week after being exposed as a spy for the Jewish state. He's provided a treasure trove of information to the security service. We read about he's mapped out the locations of missile storage sites, training bases, the hiding places of senior Hamas officials in the Gaza Strip. And again, he made his way out of Gaza on a Israeli naval vessel, a kind of swift chain of events that took him back to Israel to so-called safety. So with all the information that's been gleaned from Israel, once again, your enemy trapped in a corner. We'll see how Hamas lashes out. Interesting article here on Halami Tamim. She's one of the most wanted terrorists here in the FBI's most wanted list. 18 major U.S. Jewish organizations in the U.S. are calling upon the U.S. to exert pressure on Jordan's King Abdullah to extradite this terrorist. She's the one that orchestrated the 2001 Sbarro pizza bombing that killed 15 people. Now here's the deal, 2 of them were Americans. And that's why she's fled to Jordan. She resides in Jordan. You look at these pictures on I think this is slide 7. When she was interviewed, she's become a newscaster in Jordan. When she was interviewed, you can see in this bottom one, when she was told the casualty report, she spoke, she says, I wanted to smile, but I wanted to hide my smile, but I just couldn't. May Allah be praised. It was great. And the smile came when she was told how many kids were killed. This is the epitome of evil and darkness. It's what terrorism breeds. It's a legacy of hate. And we'll have to wait and see to see if she's extradited or not. The Palestinian banks, this is very interesting. They're refusing to give salaries out for terrorists. They're ignoring a directive from Abbas. And basically, the U.S. is threatening to withhold, again, support. And because of that, the banks are refusing to give out these stipends to terrorists. And so the Palestinian Media Watch have sent letters warning these banks that of potential criminal and civil liability if they continue aiding and abetting these terrorists. And so again, interesting to see what's transpiring there. Anti-Semitism on the rise, you betcha. You know, I probably heard by now this app, TikTok, stay away from it. That's all I'm going to tell you, out of China. But there was a song that was glorifying the Nazi death camp in Auschwitz. It became a popular meme on the social network TikTok. 6.5 million views before it was removed. The song that was being played on the app included the lyrics, we're going on a trip to a place called Auschwitz. Hey everybody, it's shower time. Unbelievable. And then the quote of the week. This is from Yossi Dagan, the Sumerian Regional Council head. This is dealing with sovereignty and the annexation of parts of the West Bank. And you know, because of COVID, things have sort of slowed down in terms of this annexation. And it seems like the U.S. is getting a bit lukewarm when it comes to supporting all of this. So I found this quote very interesting. It says, the holiest places in the Jewish faith cannot be abandoned by our right-wing government, or any Israeli government for that matter. This is a rejection of the most fundamental principles of the Jewish people's return to their homeland. We're talking about Rachel's tomb, Joseph's tomb, and the tomb of the patriarchs. They cannot be abandoned. Sovereignty can be applied even without the agreement of Trump and the U.S. He's a friend of Israel, and friends need to understand that sometimes disagreements will arise. Well, you can hear the construction coming. We're just finishing up, so perfect timing. With that, until next week, shalom. Remember, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. God bless.